can cast a long shadow not only on those who are affected by it, but also by family members and the society at large. But guess what? There is always a light at the end of the tunnel. And I welcome you to another amazing episode of Catholic Faith Forum, here where we talk about Catholic matters, Christian matters, and societal matters at large. Well, on this episode, we're going to be talking about something very interesting. As I said, we're talking about addiction. So we'll be talking about the surrounding questions related to addiction and how to overcome addiction when in that phase. All you need to do is stay tuned, and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, Saints. It's still that one episode where we're talking about how to overcome an addiction. I am Marianna, and with me on this topic is a special guest. I have a specialist with me, and she's going to be deciphering, breaking down, melting down this topic into bits and pieces for you to actually understand. In the studio with me today is Miss Delphine Nwaeze. She is a counselor, a teacher, and a young, beautiful woman. Don't worry, you will see for yourself. You see for yourself. Anyway, welcome to the studio, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're looking radiant. You're looking lovely. You're looking beautiful.
Thank you.
What other adjective do I use?
Anyone. It's fine.
Well, welcome to the studio. Thank you very much for accepting our invite. I'm coming here to actually, give us some kind of knowledge on this particular topic, because when we look around in the society, we realize a lot of people are suffering from various types of addiction,
right.
Be it drugs, be it sexual activities,
Yeah.
and even the one that person, Femi, you that is inside your room, you think you are not suffering from addiction, Abby, but you are scrolling through Instagram on a daily basis, spending how many hours on Instagram? That's also an addiction. But then our specialists will be letting us know more about that. So I would just like you to explain in layman terms now, what is an addiction?
An addiction is it's a strong physical or psychological feeling on the need or urge to use substance or to do something, even at the detriment of one's health. You know that this particular thing can cause harm to you, and then still you just want to do it. Yeah. And you want to do it over and over again. Okay. Even at the detriment of your... So
it's more like it becomes a habit.
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, so what are the things that could actually be attributed to, someone... The things one could do, rather, that could actually make someone, be classified or be categorized as an addict to that thing? Yeah, what are the things? Okay.
For you to say that somebody is actually addicted to something, there's if it's a drug, there's difference between misuse of drug and then there's addiction to drug. Misuse is more like you're using a particular substance in a high dosage, but when it becomes an addiction is you just have to go back to it. You can't do without it. You know that this thing is not good for you, but you just enjoy doing it, even at your own detriment.
Okay. So are there actually basic causes of addiction? Is there anything that actually leads to one being addicted to a certain thing? Is it the joy? What is it?
There are different causes of addiction, though. Yeah. Some people get addicted to different things based on their because of stress or anxiety, fear. Some basically because of peer pressure. Yes, from friends. Some can be genetic predisposition, it might be inside. Some is societal, what they see outside environment. It can be environmental influence. So there are just different causes of addiction.
Okay, so now for one to actually, sometimes maybe after trying to take a gradual process towards being sober, one could actually still get triggered. Maybe you're trying to take a sobriety period, maybe you're 6 months in, and something could trigger you. What are the causes of these triggers? Is it that substance that you're taking that would actually trigger you, or is it probably a certain feeling? What is it that could trigger a person?
Sometimes sometimes it can be boredom. Sometimes fear and anxiety also, like I said earlier. Society, the peer pressure
Yeah.
can trigger it. Like your friends, you see your friends taking a particular substance all the time, and you're like, okay, I think I want to try this. And then you try it for the first time and you want to do it over and over again. I think there was a time too that there was a time I when I lost my dad, like it's little, I got really depressed, that I had to start. I started staying on my own, and from staying on my own, from there I just developed these thoughts of, okay, instead of me going to go and eat, I developed this thought of, okay, I don't want to eat normal food again. I want to start doing something different. I actually started, I got addicted to something else.
Okay.
And I kept on doing. I was finding joy in it. So sometimes it can be trauma from bad incidents, like something bad or something terrible happened to you, and then you just you want to find solace in doing something negative. So there are different triggers to addiction.
Okay, so we are humans. We get tempted.
Yeah.
Every time, there is something you see your friend doing and you feel like, okay, let me try it a little bit.
I know it affects your mental health, and
exactly.
You're not even aware about you just do it.
Yeah, exactly. So are there any coping strategies that could help one handle an addiction?
Yes. First is that you have to identify the fact that yes, you are addicted to this thing. Be it social media, be it sex, be it drugs, substance, whatsoever. Just identify, tell yourself that yes, or I am actually addicted to this. Or you might not even be you might not be the one to identify. Sometimes it might be people around you. And another thing is the way you approach an addict is there's a way to approach people that are addicted to something. You don't just come to them and tell them that this thing you are doing is yes, you are wrong, don't do this, or shout on. They would not listen to you, especially youths of these days.
Judgmental.
Exactly. So you don't need to criticize them, you don't need to judge them.
Okay.
Because some of them are actually not aware, but they are not that they are actually addicted to this particular thing. You get. So you don't criticize them, you don't judge them.
Okay. You just need to take it slow paced. Speak to them with love. That kind of thing. All right. Anyway, I would like you to just hold it a little bit because we need to go on a break. And on this break, we'll get to know who the saint of the week is. Over to you, Marianna.
Today, we're exploring the fascinating life of one of the greatest thinkers in the history of the church, Saint Thomas Aquinas. Saint Thomas Aquinas was born around 1225 in Roccasecca, Italy. From a young age, Thomas was different. He was curious, intelligent, and deeply spiritual. His family had big plans for him, hoping he would become a powerful abbot, but Thomas had other ideas. By the time he was 19, he felt a strong calling to join the newly founded Dominican order. Now, you think his family will be thrilled, right? Wrong. They were furious. His brothers even kidnapped him and locked him in the family castle for over a year, trying to change his mind. But Thomas was determined. He used this time to read, pray, and prepare for his future work. He also tutored his sisters and communicated with members of the Dominican order. In an effort to change Thomas's mind, two of his brothers hired a prostitute to seduce him, but legends claim Thomas drove her off with a fire iron. That night, two angels appeared to him in a dream and strengthened his resolve to remain celibate. When his mother, Theodora, realized she could not sway her son, she tried to preserve the family name by arranging for his escape through a window. She believed a secret escape was better than appearing to accept his decision. After escaping, he joined the Dominicans and went on to study under the great scholar Albertus Magnus. Thomas's intellect was incredible and his humility matched his brilliance. People started calling him the dumb ox because he was quiet and large. But Albertus famously predicted that Thomas's bellowing would one day be heard around the world. And oh, how right he was! Thomas Aquinas wrote some of the most influential works in Christian theology and philosophy. His most famous work, the Summa Theologiae, is a monumental synthesis of faith and reason, covering everything from the nature of God to ethics and morality. It is still studied and respected by scholars today. His works bridged the gap between Asian philosophy and Christian theology, making complex ideas accessible and meaningful. The real goat. At the conclusion of his regency, the Dominicans called Thomas to establish a university wherever he wanted, with a staff of whomever he wished. He established the university in Naples and took the regent master post. Despite his intellectual achievements, Thomas remained humble and dedicated to his mission. He was a man of deep prayer, often spending long hours in contemplation. In 1273, Thomas was seen by the sacristan Dominic of Caserta to be crying and levitating in prayer before an icon of the crucified Christ at the Dominican convent of Naples in the chapel of St. Nicholas. During this prayer, Christ is said to have told him, "You have written well of me, Thomas. What reward would you have for your labor?" And Thomas replied, "Nothing but you, Lord." Hi! Following this exchange, something happened, but Thomas never wrote or spoke of it. He abandoned his routine, and when begged to return to work, he replied, "I cannot, because all that I have written seems like straw to me." Thomas died on March 7, 1274, during a commentary on the Song of Songs. Thomas's remains were placed in the Church of the Jacobins in Toulouse on January 28, 1369. His original feast day was March 7, the day of his death, but because the date often falls within Lent, in 1969, a revision of the Roman calendar changed his feast day to January 28, the date his relics were moved to Toulouse. Pope Pius V declared St. Thomas a doctor of the Church, saying Thomas was the most brilliant light of the Church. So what can we learn from St. Thomas Aquinas? His life teaches us the value of perseverance, humility, and harmony between faith and reason. He reminds us that seeking truth through both our minds and our hearts can lead us closer to God. And so we say, St. Thomas Aquinas, pray for us.
Thank you very much, Marianne, for that wonderful rendition. Well, we're still talking about overcoming addiction, and my guest is still here with me today on this topic. So I want to ask now, most times as normal people, we just keep doing some certain things and we don't know that we are really addicted to these things.
Okay.
For example, social media, a person could sit and just keep scrolling and scrolling. So to what extent will you do a certain thing that would actually, make you, become an addict?
Okay. Yeah, most youths are actually addicted to social media. We find ourselves always scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, exactly, yeah, for long hours. In fact, more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, people are online. And some people are actually making money from it. For some, it is actually like their job. For some, they are making money, yeah. But when you now find yourself, you're not making money from it. You're just doing it for fun. And then you're supposed to be doing something else at a particular time, and you find yourself scrolling through social media. At that point in time, my dear, you're an addict. You're addicted to social media. And there's this 2020 vision rule that says like you have to look at the screen for 20 minutes, and then you take 20. I really don't know how that particular rule it's been said, but you are supposed to like remove your face from screen for 20 minutes and look at something else that is 20 centimeters away from you. And so when you find yourself already on social media doing for more than 20 minutes, not replying important messages and not doing the things that you're supposed to do, then you're obviously addicted to social media. In fact, sometimes too, I am guilty. We are all guilty actually. Yeah.
Anyway, so right now let's get into the recovery process, because once you've identified, you talked about identifying the fact that you are addicted to this thing and trying to now recover. So when it comes to you trying to recover, when you're trying to go through that recovery phase, what are the steps that one should follow in getting to the recovery stage?
Recovering from drugs,
recovering from addiction.
Let's
say in general now, all encompassing.
Okay.
Yeah.
when you are trying to recover, first you have to identify that yes, you are addicted to this certain thing, be it drugs or a particular behavior, be it food, gambling, whatsoever it is, sex, whatsoever you're addicted to. You have to identify the fact that yes, you are addicted to this thing. Then seek help from either a doctor. If it's drug abuse or use of substances, you need help from a doctor.
Okay.
Yes. Then if it's behavior wise, you need to see a counselor. There's this therapy called cognitive behavior therapy.
Okay.
Yes, so you need to take cognitive behavior therapy to unlearn whatever habit or behavior you already learned, and then you keep doing all the time. You need to start unlearning. Yes, so you do that during this particular therapy. So you can either see a psychologist, a doctor, a counselor for help.
Okay. So now, during this recovery stage, there have been cases where, people relapse.
Okay.
You're supposed to... Okay, first, even before I ask that, I want to now ask, when it comes to drug abuse in particular,
All right.
is it better for someone who is trying to withdraw from taking drugs? Is it good for the person to just stop all at once? Or how does it go? Does it affect the person at the end of the day? Just abruptly putting an end to it?
There are different substances. There are different drugs. So there are some drugs that when you take them, they've already changed your body system, and you're already used to it, and your body system is already used to it. So stopping instantly can also cause like a very, very strong harm or more consequences. It can be worse than when you were even taking the substance. So you don't just stop just like that. That's why you really need to seek the help of a doctor when you're taking substances. They are the only ones that can tell you how to go about it, or they can also prescribe drugs that will subsidize whatever you have been taking before. So you need to first see a doctor to get to know what will work for you and your body system. So there are we have different people and different substances that they take. So you just need to seek the help of a doctor.
Okay, so let's go back to our recovery stage now.
Okay.
When trying to recover from, basically, let's do it all encompassing now, any sort of drug abuse, what are the steps to actually take to get to that recovery stage? After identifying, that, okay, you're addicted to this certain thing, what else do I do? Do I just sit in my house and...
No, you can speak to a trusted family member, somebody you trust around. It is actually a confidential issue, though it depends on different people. There are some people that are actually free talking about it. There are some that are actually not free talking about it. So you can seek help from people that you trust. Then seek help from counselors. You can have a therapist, somebody that you talk to one-on-one that understands you, and then this person would also guide you through the whole process. And also, you should also learn to give yourself positive self-talk. Yes. Tell yourself that, okay, this thing, I've gotten it wrong this time, but I really want to get it right this time. Delphine, I can do this. I can be better. I can do this. You can also engage yourself with physical activities. If you're somebody that loves singing, you can do that. Take long walks. Practice stress management. Positive stress management. I don't know the word to say this right now. Okay.
Anyway,
so take deep breaths at intervals. Yes, very, very important. And engage yourself in physical activities. It can be sports. It can be singing, dancing. It can be whatever you find interesting that you do and you're happy doing it. Just probably
so it's
an
more
hobby.
like these are coping strategies that one can use.
You can also write. See situations whereby when you are this particular addiction thing is a psychological thing. It is mental. So to ease yourself of mental stress, you can also write.
Do something you love.
Yes.
Well, you've gotten that. Do something you love. Well, at this point, we'll be taking a breather right now, and We'll be going on a short break. On this break, we'll get to know more about our faith. Over to you, EleFaChi.
Hi guys, it's your girl EleFaChi, and you're welcome to another interesting episode of Know Your Faith. In the last episode, we talked about 5 things to know about the angels, and on this episode, I'll be sharing with you 3 facts you didn't know about the 9 choirs of angels. And the last one will shock you. Come with me. Number 1, the 9 choirs of angels is split into 3 groups, and each group has 3 choirs. The first group are those closest to God. Now this means that they dwell with God in heaven, and it includes the seraphim, the cherubim, and the thrones. Now all they do is worship God. You know, as they often say, who are those in your circle? They are like God's inner circle, always singing his praises. In the second group, we have dominions, virtues, and powers. They are like the intermediary between heaven and earth. These ones are like our governors. They maintain order in the world, ensuring that everything runs smoothly. The third group includes principalities, archangels, and angels. I know you know these ones well. And that's because they dwell in the cosmic heavens and in the earthly realm. They are more directly involved with human affairs, guiding and protecting us and delivering God's messages. Number 2, they have a prominent place in our liturgy and prayers. For instance, the Sanctus prayer, that is the Holy, Holy, Holy Lord God of hosts, is said to be the continuous praise of the seraphim. You get it? Lastly, they help you maintain your steez. Yes, so just call them through the guardian angel prayer. What other angel fun facts do you know? Tell us in the comment section. I'll be waiting to read from you. Till next time, be bold, be Catholic.
Thank you very much, EleFaChi, for that one. And welcome back, Saints. We're still talking about overcoming an addiction. And right now, my question is a very, very important one because it is practical, yeah? When people get into, most especially drug addicts, when they get into this phase of recovery, they most times don't want to, even after accepting that they're addicts, they don't want to go out into social spaces to say, oh, I am an addict and I'm trying to recover. They don't want to go to AA meetings that they are meant to. For someone like that who is struggling with the stigmatization that society would most likely throw at him or her, what would you tell such a person? How would you try to encourage such a person to, still go through that recovery route?
Despite the fact that I would say it's better one identify with groups that talks about different addictions, like identify with like minds that also have the same problem just as you have. But there are some people, like you said, that don't want it at all.
So how will you handle something like that?
That's where the counselor comes in. You can meet a counselor. Counseling, there are individual counseling sessions that can be fixed at your own time and in your own space. You get to tell the counselor that, okay, this is where I want to see you, this is where I'm comfortable talking to you, and then you just have one-on-one with the counselor. Or it might not be a counselor, it might be a therapist, it can be a psychologist too.
Okay, so now in terms of
or a doctor, I'm sorry.
Okay, yes, a doctor.
Cases of drug or substance abuse.
Okay, so in terms of relapse now, because sometimes you could be pursuing that, even some people still experience it, you're trying to get to a certain goal. Consistency is very, very paramount. But then something could happen on the way and you kind of relapse midway. So what can one do in a time of relapse? Sometimes their self-esteem, the notion of them actually getting to that goal has been breached because they feel like, oh, I can't do it no more. What kind of encouragement can one give to a person like that who is in that situation?
For somebody in that kind of situation, you need to reassure yourself and reaffirm yourself at that point in time that, okay, yes, I have made a mistake. I've gone wrong.
tilted,
After I've actually decided that I want to change, I've still tilted. And then you need to forgive yourself, practice self-forgiveness, and continue. This time around, when you're setting your goals, set smaller goals in trying to
smaller goals that you can achieve.
yes, that you can actually achieve, trying to leave the addiction.
Okay.
So if before your goal is to just stop, probably you're addicted to sex, let's assume you're addicted to sex, and the goal is like you don't want to have sex anymore, and then you find yourself like you mistakenly
go back. It, yeah.
Firstly, you forgive yourself for actually doing that. Then reassure and reaffirm yourself that, okay, I really want to do this time around. And okay, then after reaffirming and reassuring yourself, you should avoid environment or company of those that would lead you back to the addiction. Avoid such companies. Then you should also look for family members or friends that have like minds. I would also want to help you get out of this addiction.
Okay.
Yes, look for support
Yeah.
from a friend, a trusted family member. Tell this person to watch you, like tell this person to
Accountability.
yes, let's
accountability
look for a
partner.
friend that is accountable, somebody or a family member or somebody that can actually watch you and tell you, okay, this time around you're doing well, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Somebody that will also encourage you to do positive things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So apart from accountability, are there any other benefits of joining a support group? Because most times, those people could help you be accountable to yourself. Yeah. So are there any other positive attributes, or rather positive effects that joining a support group could give one?
It gives one a sense of belonging. You get to know that, yes, I'm not the only one that is suffering from this. Yes. So you also get to learn other coping strategies or mechanisms.
Okay.
Probably the one you've been using is not really working. You get to hear from some other persons what they've been doing and how they've been getting along like real quick.
Okay. So how can one now set a realistic goal for recovery, for a recovery process? You've talked about setting little goals, but is there probably a specific strategy, a timeline? For example, maybe a student or someone who is addicted to social media now, how would you advise the person to actually set their goals right in order for them to pull out of that whole addiction?
Social media it's just new form of technology and all, and there are a lot of things that one can actually do with technology, and you can actually like set I don't know, but I think the word is maybe a timetable.
Yeah.
A daily timetable, like a daily routine. Yes, that you can use for yourself, like for work or whatsoever. Personally, for me, that's what I do. Like when you can utilize what do they call this? Google Calendar.
Okay.
Set on your calendar, there's a part where you can actually like fix in whatsoever thing you want to do for a day and how you want your day to look like. So you just fix time for everything.
Yeah.
And then stick to this particular time. Although on the first day you might find yourself not actually like sticking to the struggling.
But
yeah.
little by little.
But tell yourself that, okay, if before I've been scrolling through social media for, let's say 30 minutes, I do 30 minutes before. This time around, I'm going to limit it to 20. Then from 20, you can do, you just find yourself, it's to keep decreasing. As far as you are consistent with it, you don't go back.
Yeah.
And when you find yourself going back, still tell yourself that, okay, yes, you can actually do this. I really want to limit the way I use social media, or probably leverage on it, like probably start making money if you want, if that is really what you want. Yeah, if that is really what you want to do.
Okay. Thank you very much for that one. And Right now, I'm going to be telling you that everything that has a beginning has an end.
Exactly.
At this point, we've come to the end of this session, of this episode of Catholic Faith Forum. I'll say a very big thank you to my guest, Miss Nwaeze Chizaram Delphine. Thank you very much for joining me on this
Thank
episode.
you so much.
Thank you
for
very
having
much.
me
You've
too.
really given us a whole lot of information today. And to whoever is out there, to my viewers, I would really put this word out to you. You've heard a lot from our guests already. It takes two to tango. So if you are ready to actually accept the fact that you've been addicted to this thing, then you would be able to get to the point where you get to, find a recovery process for yourself. I say thank you very much to you who is listening right now, and to that person, whoever you are, if you're addicted to anything, well, it's not the end of the world. As I said earlier, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this video here on YouTube at Dominican Media, and follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. You find us there at CFF on TV. Till next time, keep being saints in jeans and shirts.